Healthy Communication Skills is part of the Stress Less series brought to you by Susquehanna University's Counseling Center. There are 4 different communication styles, and we're going to start with the upper right quadrant. This one is the most difficult. Passive-aggressive communication. That's where I don't care about myself and I don't care about you either. So this is I lose, you lose, everybody loses. And we're not going to go deeper into that one, but we will go into a little bit more detail about the other 3 communication styles. On the lower right, passive communication. This is where I don't care about myself and I do care about you. So I lose and you win. Then on the lower left, we have the aggressive communication style. I care about myself, but I don't care about you. I win and you lose. And then finally on the upper left quadrant, we have a more favorable communication style, the assertive communication style. I care about myself and I care about you. So I win and you win, we're all winners. A little bit more about passive communication. This is where we're keeping quiet. You're keeping quiet about your own needs and desires. You're putting others' needs ahead of your own, and just to avoid conflict. You may be going along with things that you don't want to do, and oftentimes this is accompanied by a hope that the other person senses what you really want without you having to say it. And in this instance, this means that you're hoping the other person can be a mind reader and understand what you want and somehow go along with it. And that's just not realistic, and it's not actually fair to the other person, let alone yourself. Oftentimes, difficulty making decisions is part of the passive communication style. And it's really about not saying what you want. The aggressive communication style, this is where you're putting your needs first. You're ignoring others' feelings and needs. You're blaming others for your mistakes. You're being sarcastic, and really there's just not ever a place for that. You may be interrupting other people a lot. So this is where you're kind of running roughshod over the folks around you. Assertive communication takes everyone into account. So instead of aggressively championing only your own needs or passively taking care only of others' needs, you're right in that sweet spot where you're balancing both. And the next couple of slides, we're going to talk about how to do that. Assertive communication starts with expressing your own rights and your own feelings clearly. Not hoping other people can mind read, not hoping other people should or ought to know how you feel, but saying what you feel and what you need. You're also simultaneously taking other people's feelings into consideration so that you're not running roughshod over everyone around you. You're acting in your own best interest. Believe me, if you are not your own best advocate, no one else will be. You have to say what you need. You have to advocate for yourself. It means that you're developing trust and equality in relationships because you are respectful and considerate of what others need in addition to what you need. And it also means asking for help when you need it. Now, a lot of times folks think that to be independent means that we do everything on our own somehow, living in a vacuum with no support from others. But that's just a myth. A real sign of maturity is understanding that we do need support from other people at times and asking for that when we need it. So remember, when communicating assertively, you're stating what you want and need calmly and firmly, and you can smile and be polite while stating what you need. You don't have to be nasty about it. In fact, you don't want to be nasty about it. An important facet of assertive communication is the ability to say no. So a few tips on that. First of all, when you say no to something, you do not owe anyone an explanation or excuse for why you're saying no. You don't need to get all tongue-tied in that. Keep it short and simple. And remember too that when you say no to something, you're giving yourself the freedom to say yes to something else. You may not know what that something else is, and it doesn't matter if you don't. But it's nice to give yourself that freedom instead of getting yourself locked into things you don't really want to be committed to. So good luck with your assertive communication.